welcome back to another episode here at the SimTech Podcast. Today we are talking to the team from Innov2Learn, and we're going to be talking about a little piece of kit that they brought in. But before we do that, we're going to do a round of introductions. Mike, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mike. See you at Innov2Learn.
And Hami.
So I'm Hami, CTO at Innov2Learn, in charge of pretty much all technical stuff over here.
Thank you very much, Hami. And Sebastian.
Yeah, I'm Seb. Nice to meet you. And I'm an educational specialist.
Welcome to the show, guys. Pleased to meet you all. For anybody who doesn't know then, Mike, can you describe what Innov2Learn is?
Well, thank you, Craig. Innov2Learn is the go-to company for simulated point-of-care devices. So in other words, glucometer, thermometer, pulse oximeter, all kind of devices that you can think of for assessment, but designed specifically for simulation, both on standardized patient or simulated participants and low to high fidelity mannequins.
I see. So you do mannequins as well. So what kind of mannequins do you do?
Oh, no, we don't. Actually, our devices are designed to work on mannequins.
So because you use the word simulators for these pieces of kits, don't you? So it can be quite confusing because you don't mean mannequins, you mean these little, what we might
Props.
call in props or adjuncts, those kind of things. Yeah.
Correct.
And how did the idea of Innov2Learn come about?
Well, I was on the beach. No, kidding. So I
was.
was.
Ideas, huh?
No, the project came from a need that was actually formulated by the CHUM, the Hospital Center of Montreal University, back when I was doing a microelectronic and electronic program, and it was actually my final project. So they essentially told me we need a simulated glucometer that we could use on both our mannequins and on our SPs. So if you would be able to design one that looks like the real thing, but that we would be able to remote control using mobile, tablet, or computer, that would be awesome. So I took on the challenge, came back with a prototype. The following week, I received a purchase order, and then I showed it to my school, who had launched their own nursing program. They loved it. So the following week, I received another purchase order. So I was like, hey, hold on, something's going on. So with few units sold, one prototype made, something was born, Innov2Learn.
Wow. What do you think a normal day at work looks like for you, Mike? What's a day-to-day for you?
So when I wake up, I go to the gym, and then so a normal day at work. Okay. So we actually have a gym at the office, but right underneath the office. So a day-to-day work is never the same. That's the beauty of a small company. It could range from being hosted in a podcast like today, to go visit suppliers to tell us about our crazy ideas and project, or even interviewing new candidates for key roles, or even just brainstorming about what's coming up and how we could better serve the simulation community. So there's always something to do, and the hardest part is always to leave the office because there's always something to do, and it's always so fun to be in here. And I think we did a great job in making the office very appealing, with lots of plants and a lot of art around, a lot of colors. So it's really nice to be in the office.
Well, they say if you love work, you never work a day in your life.
Absolutely, I love to repeat that. Yes.
Yeah, and what did you do before this then, Mike? What's your background?
So before that, that's a good question. Well, I've been working since I'm 12 years old, and Innov2Learn is actually going to turn 10 years old on September 1st. So before Innov2Learn, I was essentially at school, and I was working as a waiter or doing some math tutoring because I love math. And pretty much just crushing it at school, and trying to win as many grants as I could by solving challenges. So it was just a natural fit to keep going with Innov2Learn in the entrepreneurship world, and just continue this vibe of like, okay, finding solutions and be able to deliver within a short period of time. So it's always a race for us. So you have to keep iterating, to keep evolving, to keep innovating. So enough to learn.
Yeah, sounds fantastic. And Hami, how did you get involved?
Mike chased me actually. I've been in the field of R&D for about 25 years at this point, and then Mike was looking for basically somebody to direct all the technical work at Innov2Learn, and I had a few, I would say, as kind of success story behind me in a different field of research and development, and then he presented me this project, and to me it was a very nice combination of challenges and also of usefulness. So for me this was a project with impact, which was a great teaser for me, I would say.
And what does a normal day look for you then, Hami? Are you in a lab?
My God.
With your white coat on creating stuff?
I mean, we have a fairly big catalog of product at this point, so there's always something going on. We get a lot of requests for new product, new solution. So it's really about, a little bit like Mike. I mean, it's the tough part is to leave the office. So we get in the office in the morning, and then basically tackling.
Yeah, it sounds like you work at Google or something. You know, I imagine you all running around or like unicycles and sitting in like egg chairs and that kind of stuff. Sebastian, how have you got involved with these?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm pretty new, I think a couple of weeks in now, Mike, but thereabouts. And similar to Hami's story, Mike actually shared a post of mine on LinkedIn, and then you know what it's like. You kind of think, oh, okay, I'll have a look. What's this up to? And you get the product catalog. We set up a meeting, and Mike told me about his story, really kind of similar to what he's just told you, which I found incredibly inspirational. And then we got talking about sort of me, my role. So my background is I'm a pediatric nurse, and I worked in simulation for about 5 years. And very much I'm at the kind of design, creation, and delivery end of it, right? And then obviously I could see where these fantastic products kind of fit into my day-to-day role. And then we talked about, and we had quite similar ideas in the industry and where it could potentially go. So I am new, but I'm pleased to be here and talking with you guys today.
So what does a normal day look like for you then, Sebastian?
Okay, this is really cool, right? So Mike asked me the question. He was like, "What would be your dream job?" So we came up with a few things. So I do loads of cool stuff, right? So there's an element of marketing and brand awareness, which a little bit of what we're doing today. Product innovation development. So I've already had some fantastic meetings with Hami, and like he said, you should see the list of stuff that people come to these guys with, where they're like, "Oh, wouldn't it be amazing if you could just do this?" And I think sometimes for you guys, the answer is definitely yes, right? So kind of working with Hami, looking at those, what are we prioritizing next? Where are we kind of going? And then one of the things that Mike and I really talked about is we're passionate about these products, right? And it's probably all fair to say we've seen some products somewhere at some point sitting on a shelf in a simulation center not being used. And whatever product it is, we all hate to see that. And with my kind of educational background and experience, I'm really kind of keen to kind of see where it goes with this kind of concept of curriculum integration and meeting people with beforehand and saying, okay, cool. So what's your student cohort size, or what's your learning outcomes, and where are you hoping to go, before we get to this point of then going, okay, cool. So we have these products that could really help you to do it. Helping people integrate into their curriculums and ultimately use the products all the time, right? Rather than just being sat on a desk, because what's the point otherwise? So I'm very, very passionate about that. And it's one of the areas that I'm sort of most excited to develop into in this role.
And did you think you'd be here in this part of your life, Sebastian? Obviously, it seems like you've made quite a jump, maybe quite a brave leap of faith. What did you think you would be here right now?
No, I think it's really funny, isn't it? Right? I think if you look back sometimes, and like 5 years ago, Seb would have had absolutely no idea where this 5 years has gone, which is I'm quite proud of, I suppose, to be fair. But I kind of initially, you're right, made that jump from clinical practice into the world of education and academia. I applied for what I thought was going to be sort of like a clinical skills teaching role. And then I got there, and then someone told me I was going to be designing and delivering simulations. And I thought, what's a simulation? And then the next thing I was doing, a pilot, co-contributing to a pilot of Health Education England on, whether or not we could use, was simulation good to use to replace and enhance the clinical hours that some students receive for going out to placements. And the answer was yes, certainly we can, with a load of caveats after it, right? Quality products, realistic environments, high fidelity, low fidelity, and this idea of what simulation was, I think, has just grown and evolved so much, even over the last 5 years. So did I expect to be here today? Absolutely not. Am I pleased? Well, you can see I'm grinning from ear to ear, which I think is really good.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, anything can be taught, but to be passionate, I think that's the key word here. And you can see that even just when you're talking there, you can't even keep your body still when you're talking about it, Sebastian.
And
You see
patience,
that it's
right?
moving.
That's the best part, is that we do all of this for the end goal, which is the patients ultimately, right? And I think sometimes, when you take that step away from clinical practice a little bit, then you're like, okay, now I'm just teaching everyone. But you realize actually I've taught 100 people how to take bloods or something like that. And then they're probably going to go and do it on and take bloods on 10 people each. And then the scale of economy grows massively. So you kind of just have to have that little bit of a gift. And then you get to the simulation side and you're like, right, okay, this is a safe space for you guys to, have a go, make mistakes, learn here before you can do it on real people, which is why we're all here.
Right. Okay. So we're going to see a video in a second that Sebastian's kindly made us. But before that, I've got a little bit of a warm up question for you all. Mike, what does the word immersion mean to you?
Emerging.
Immersion.
Immersion.
Yes.
Sorry. Immersion. Well, to me, it's really not to be able to distance yourself from the situation. It's really like to be essentially absorbed in the action. Like you're the hero in this in a world that unfolds behind your in front of your eyes.
Yeah, it's a real cool way of looking at it, that actually, Mike. Having been the hero of your own story. Yeah. Hami, for you, what does immersion mean?
Uh, I guess you want to get into it and yeah, exactly you want to be in a situation when you really don't see the difference between like normal life or the day to day and the situation you're in. As simple as that, I would say.
Yeah.
You want to trick the brain.
Well, but yeah, like I say, every time we ask this question to people, it's amazing to how people perceive it differently. And as I suspect, Sebastian, you've got your whole answer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So immersion. I think for me, it's this concept of being in a scenario that is as closely replicates clinical practice as possible for me, because I really want those kind of you people talk about this immersive experience. And I'm sure we're going to talk about this on the next one, so I don't want to jump a few questions. But like for me, it's about maintaining that immersion and not breaking it. So that's the cliffhanger before the video.
All right. Okay. Well, let's not hang on anymore. Let's watch the video.
Hi, I'm Seb, educational specialist at Innov2Learn, and today we're going to be hands-on with our new product, the EuroKit. Admittedly, here's our slightly battered but still intact case, and I thought we should probably have a quick look and make sure everything's still in one piece. Okay, we are good. There doesn't seem to be broken any parts, which is definitely a good start to this unboxing. So, what's in the EuroKit? It contains 3 point-of-care testing devices that I'm sure people will be really excited to get hands-on with, be used in simulation, clinical skills, and even teaching. Once you open up the kit, you've got a handy quick start guide which you can follow and get your kit to life. You can see our EuroT, the SimOxy, and the SimGluco Mini. Okay, so what problem does the EuroKit actually solve? So I'm pretty sure it's probably safe to say we've all been there, where a student's asked us, oh, what's the temperature, what's the heart rate, what are the oxygen saturations, what's the patient's blood glucose, and then somebody from a room next door or the other side of the room calls out 6.2 or 98%. And I think ultimately what this does is it kind of, one, it ruins the fidelity of the sim, and two, it kind of adds to that cognitive load if the students are having to kind of imagine what they might be, or imagine putting the temperature probe in someone's ear. And what this does is essentially it doesn't add to that cognitive load, and it enables students to, I feel, perform better in the simulations because they're not having to imagine things. So much like in the real world, these can be used on simulated patients as well as mannequins, which is great. And they come with the hygiene probe covers. So you just pop those on, which is amazing. They're like point and shoot. So you've got an on button and a take the test button. Pop that one in your ear, press the button, and then you'll get the flashy lights, and then send now. And you get a nice beep, and then as you can see, the temperature comes up on there. Okay, so next up we've got the SimOxy. Very easy to connect, just like the last one. So little small power on button here, and then I'm going to go press connect on my iPad. You can immediately see at the top left here, well, you might not be able to because of my terrible camera, but essentially you can press on there, click the link button, 1, 2, just about 2 seconds, which is pretty quick. And I've got the option to adjust my SpO2, which I'm going to have with 99%, and my pulse rate, which I'll go for 66 for this patient. I'm going to press preset and send. And what's really cool actually is it pops up with an alert and it knows it's not on my finger. So if I pop it on here instead, and then basically do the same thing. So 99% and 66. Send it over. And as you can see then, it knows it's on my finger, which is really cool by the power of simulation. So the final piece of kit in our EuroKit is the Gluco Mini. So as you can see, it's essentially a simulated glucose testing device. So I'll pop my testing strip in the top and it pops up to say processing. And already on my app here, I've got lots of flashing lights saying a student needs the blood glucose reading. So you've got some presets. We've got high, we've got low, and obviously you can enter something custom yourself. But I'm just going to click high here for today. I'm going to send that one. You get a nice audible beep over at this end, and then it comes up and you can see it's reading high there. So are there any hidden features? I think the first thing that probably comes to mind for me, as someone who regularly delivers simulation at scale, is from the app you can control multiple devices at the same time, which is really, really nice. So if you've got 2 or 3 mini sims running at the same time, perhaps they're the same sim, but three different sets of groups of students are doing them. And what's really, really nice is that red light that kind of flashes. So you're like, oh, okay, brilliant, that student's doing that there. I need to send that one over to them there. So that sort of brings us to the end of our sort of unboxing and product showcase, really. I've kind of been reflecting on it and kind of asked myself the question, like, who can use this? Who's it actually for? And I think, we've had a quick look through how quick it is to set up. The app's free. Probably literally anybody working in simulation in clinical practice, in hospitals, in higher education settings. I think this kit has got something for you, which is really quite exciting.
Well, thank you for that, Sebastian. That is quite a creative video. I mean, you must have had so much fun creating that video, yeah?
Yeah, it was very good. Me and my wife wandering down the lanes and me going, I think I'm going to climb up that tree. Really? Really? Are you going to climb up the tree? And yeah.
Well, the wife was the cameraman, I assume, on your phone.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I can confirm that the case is tough.
Yeah.
It's got a few battle scars on it, but it made it.
How many takes?
So it did actually get thrown out of a tree twice, because the first one you couldn't hear me very well. So it's been out of a tree at least twice. Sprayed with the garden hose, and it slides a very long way on dry earth.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Just to recap, then, what's in the case? Are you with us there, Sebastian?
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So sorry about that. We've got essentially tympanic thermometer, which is absolutely a great bit of kit, which is all controllable via our app. You've got a simulated blood glucose meter, and oxygen saturation probe, which does SATs and pulse.
And does that always come as a trio, or can you buy them individually?
Hami, I'm giving it to you.
Perfect. Yes, I'll take the lead for this one. Initially, it's just since late 2026 that we have started to make bundles. You can always buy all the products separately, but this Euro Kit is almost you get the whole bundle essentially for the price of one simulator. So it's a hit or miss kind of deal, and you get, and especially we have the universal adapters that allows the customers from all around the world to be able to charge the device, because all the devices are rechargeable.
And does the tablet come with it as well?
Nope, it doesn't.
No.
That's one main thing with Innov2Learn products. It's to allow our customers to be able to use their own mobile or their own tablet or their own computer without the need of always purchasing an additional tablet. You can always purchase a separate tablet. Like, we supply a SIM controller that makes it more convenient and allows also to connect up to 16 devices at a time, but it's not a requirement. It's not a hard requirement.
Maybe the hardest question then is, how much does it cost?
Are you paying cash or by check? How much are you willing to pay?
Am I paying Bitcoin?
Bitcoin. Oh, yeah. Now we talk. Actually, it depends. It depends where you're located. For example, if you're based in the UK, your best way to get a quote for this product would be to reach out to Simulation Collective directly. If you're based, for example, in the States, you could either go through Pocket Nerds, Medical, or Innov2Learn, or if you're based in Poland, you could go see Simedu. So we have a list of all our different distributors, and to accommodate the duties, the custom and stuff. So price may varies, but it's less than $1 million and more than a dollar.
That's an interesting range. Okay, so it varies really.
It varies, yeah.
Yeah, and that depends on NHS prices. Obviously, we like to overpay as well. So 20% for NHS, that kind of stuff.
20%, pardon me? But yeah. Essentially, we have different bundles available. If you take 1 versus if you take 10, versus if you take 20, you get additional, like you mentioned, tablets. So we can provide there's, depending on where you land. If you go on our website, you'll see the different bundles available. But we provide the MO Touch kit also, that is a complement to the glucometer. So essentially, it's a simulated lensing device that drops a droplet of artificial blood on either mannequin or standardized patient without a needle. So it's another product, Innov2Learn signature product.
That's so cool, right? Just from a delivery perspective, because you see it time and time again when you're training. You've got I'm type 1 diabetic myself, so whenever I see people jabbing index fingers or thumbs, we use them for absolutely everything. So there's so many other sites on these fingers that we can use. So I think having that ability to highlight that's really cool. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay, no, I was wondering about the connection. Does it require a Wi-Fi connection or is it Bluetooth?
I'll let you speak on this.
Okay, guys. So all our devices are Bluetooth connected, so no Wi-Fi. So you don't need any basically IT team or no password, no nothing. You go anywhere and then you can use the devices using the app.
What kind of range are you going to get on it? Are things like walls, mirrors, any kind of blockages? Will that stop the connection?
You get 15 meters in pretty much all situation. And then we have a dongle product, which can extend the range up to 150 meter. So this is a product we propose on our catalog.
Okay, cool. I'm just wondering, is what are people using kind of instead of this product? I know our simulation center, we generally just fake these kind of results. We use maybe a real broken thermometer, and yeah, sometimes a little sticky note over the top, that kind of stuff. How does this differ from it then, and why is that important?
Can I go with this one?
Go for it.
Cool. So Mike was just throwing up there in the background post-it notes, right? So we see, I think, probably massive variance in this up and down the country. Sometimes it'll be a post-it note stuck to the mannequin's side of the head. Sometimes it could be an SP who's really well rehearsed and knows what all their observations are, but they kind of, they're speaking them verbally, or it's one of the staff faculty members shouting it from the room next door. The issue that I kind of have with it is that we talked about this just before, the cliffhanger just before we watched the video, I think it breaks that immersion, right? And we invest loads of time into creating these highly realistic, high fidelity sims. And then when somebody shouts across, or you have to look at it, or you have to tell them, I think it adds to the students' psychological load. And you just if they're having to imagine on a burn on someone's arm, or they're having to imagine what the temperature is, it's just adding to that sort of, they've already stressed out enough because they're doing a sim. And if we're having to make even more unrealistic things that they're having to imagine, we're just not setting them up to succeed, which isn't always the point, right? And also, where you kind of mentioned, how does that differ? And how does it help? I think I kind of showed it a little bit on the video, which I really like, is you get the little flashing thing. So if it's happened, it's tough, right? There's loads of stuff moving, you're facilitating, you're trying to get notes to get a good quality debrief afterwards. And you can't, it's hard to always be looking up and down, right? Okay, I need to release that one now, I need to do that, I need to call that out. Whereas actually it's a nice little reminder. It just pops up saying, oh, brilliant, yeah, I can release that temperature now. So I kind of like that.
How easy is it to use? I mean, it looks quite simple there from a technician's point of view, but what about maybe a doctor or nurse who isn't too familiar with technology? Would they have any problem?
It's really hard, right? I'm gonna say no. I don't think they would, because you open it up and then it's just okay, you can see the device is there. You click on it, you press the pair, and I think I might have even timed it in the video. I'm pretty sure less than 2 seconds, and it kind of connected. And what was really cool as well is it even knew that my finger wasn't inside the pulse oxy, right? So that's really cool as well.
Yeah,
I would like to say it's pretty accessible from a technology point of view.
This question is really at the center of everything we do at Innov2Learn. We really try to keep everything as simple as possible, and when possible, which is almost always the case, we want product that you don't need a technician to operate. We want everybody to be able to use the product quickly and without to basically have to learn anything. So the idea is for pretty much all our product, you open the app, and then if there's anything difficult, the app is going to show you how to do it, and there's very little difficult totally around. So
where can it go wrong? Does it have any I don't want to say errors, because that's probably not the right word, but if it does go wrong somewhere, where does it normally go wrong?
I got this one. So the most common troubleshooting that we get is when they try to turn on the device. So if you leave the charging cable plug in the device, it won't turn on. So that's the most critical thing. So you just unplug the cable, and then you'll be able to turn on the device. So that's the shooting pro tip that I can provide today.
Does it have any problems with all 3 devices working at the same time? Because I can only imagine, if you've got one tablet and 3 devices all connected to the same, is that a thing, or do you need 3 separate iPads for each piece of kit?
Great question. I'll let Hami answer this one.
No, there's no. The only limit to how many devices you can control is coming actually from your tablet model. But then we guarantee that you can control at least 8 devices from a single tablet. and then in many cases you can do up.
Oh, that's pretty good. How's it evaluating? Are you evaluating it with people? Are they telling you how good it is or anything like that?
Can you clarify what you mean by how you evaluate?
Do you get any feedback off of people that are using it?
Okay. Yes, absolutely. Well, we just hosted we were invited for a webinar hosted by healthysimulation.com, where we had one of our customer providing feedback, and she has been a customer for almost 10 years as well. So since the very beginning. And so if the customer weren't using or liking what we were doing, we wouldn't be here to discuss it. So I think we're doing a good job, and and that's why we keep developing and keep bringing on new product on a yearly basis.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really interesting product. Maybe fixing a problem that I haven't really thought about. But now that you've highlighted it to me, I'm probably going to see this problem all over the place, because most simulation centers, we go to quite a lot of trouble to keep immersion. But maybe it's the little things that we need to look at in more, closer. That, if it brings them out, what's the point of having all these immersive backgrounds and all this kind of stuff when it's the little things that we don't look at? What kind of stuff have you got cooking? Have you got any other ideas that you can share without divulging too much information?
Can I say a very small one? So
Go ahead, Sebastian.
Hami sent me some videos through, which I was really impressed with. So when you put an oxygen a probe on someone's finger, it's not going to just sit there at 96% like all the time, right? There's always, people move a little bit, signal changes, and naturally that's going to go kind of up and down. And Hami's looking at the minute, sort of implementing the, he kind of called it, I can't remember the exact phrase used, Hami, you can come in a minute and tell me exactly what it's called, but I thought that was really cool. And then we've just been messaging back and forth. Also, if you imagine you want to do sort of a patient who requires oxygen, whose sats are dropping, actually this ability to say, actually, I want the sats to start at 96. The patient's got pneumonia, but actually I'd like them to, over the course of 15 minutes, to drop down to 85. That will then be programmed to do that. And then obviously as a facilitator, you're there watching the scenario unfold, and it's as soon as pop the oxygen on or they do something else, obviously then you've got that ability to make it come back up. So that was really cool to kind of like work and discuss that with Hami. And, that's like the first thing that popped into my head, but I really think it's quite a cool innovation, and for the future of one of those devices, it's really cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, where do those kind of ideas come from, Hami?
From our customers. I don't think we do anything that did not come from our users. We receive requests every day, and if we don't get like a request or a question about something, we just don't work on it because we're too busy with our users' requests already. So this is where it comes from. It's coming.
Cool. I mean, you, Mike, go on. I interrupted.
Oh, it's all right. Ami mentioned it, but it's we never wanted, and Sebastian even apply it. We never want to provide products that are push product. We have enough requests that to make sure that our products are always needed. So I always like if I review, if I think about like a previous entrepreneurship class, it's not a technology push, it's a technology need. And it started from the very beginning, and to this day, that's what we're following.
Wow. I mean, on that note, I think we'll come to a close. Is there anything like you would like to add before we sign off? Where can people find out more information? You going to any conferences, that kind of stuff, where we might be able to catch up?
Great one. Yes, absolutely. So we are on all the social media. So Facebook, Twitter, well, now X, Instagram, TikTok, name it, Facebook. We also post on a regular basis on the Simulation Technician Network Facebook group. And we also have our website, Innov2Learn.ca, or the the shortened version, I2, the letter L.ca. We'll also be at ASPI, where you'll be able to meet Sebastian and Hami and myself. Plus,
I'm going. I've got my tickets booked in my hotel, but
oh, not us yet, but shortly. We're working on it, but we have a booth reserved. And you'll definitely see us at IMSH, and probably, very likely at CESAM as well in June, and many more at CanSim as well in May. That will be our first one. Well, they will have a whole escape room workshop using Innov2Learn devices. That will be insane. Like
That's
multiple
cool idea.
stations running simultaneously escape rooms using Innov2Learn devices.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. Do you do any demos or trials? So what if people wanted to try it out before they buy? Any kind of stuff like that?
Great question. I would say reach out to your local distributor to see if that's possible. But we do have two no-brainers in terms of warranty. We have a 1-year money-back warranty. So essentially, you don't need any excuse. You don't like the device. It doesn't do what you think it was supposed to do. We give you back your money. No question asked, nothing. And the second one is a 2-year functional warranty. So that means if anything breaks, we swap it. So most of the time, if there's anything of the sort that happened, people are like, okay, here's my device. Please swap it. I need it in 1 week, 2 weeks, because it's fully integrated in their curriculum or fully integrated in their workflow, and they kind of miss it if they don't have it on hand ready to go.
Anything from you two before we sign off? I will take quiet as we are done. Sebastian, I know I'll see you very shortly. Will I? Friday?
Yeah, see you on Friday.
See you on Friday. Happy days. All right, guys. Thank you for coming and talking today. Hopefully, we can do a follow-up either later on. Maybe I can get my hands on one. Who knows? And we can actually get maybe a little bit of a review or a trial going on. That'd be cool. All right, guys. Thank you very much for your time. And we'll see you at ASPI, and I'll see you at SimTech Sim next week, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Craig. Speak to you soon.